Thank you for joining us today at the Independent Garden Center show in Navy Pier in Chicago. Today we're interviewing Ron Wilson from the popular radio show In the Garden with Ron Wilson. Ron's show can be heard on Saturdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time on 55 KRC, the talk station in Cincinnati. Hi Ron, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
My pleasure to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your show?
Sure. I have been in this business all of my life pretty much, and graduated from The Ohio State University in landscape horticulture, and over the years had the opportunity to start doing a little TV and radio and helping folks to be more successful in their gardens, and has grown into what we do today. And it's kind of neat about our show. We're based out of Cincinnati, but it's networked on over 30 different stations and 30 stations in 12 states, plus we're a satellite. It puts us actually the only gardening show coast to coast. So it's a lot of fun, so we hear from folks all around the country talking about gardening.
So I've been told you got a chance to use Wet and Forget for the first time recently. I know we had a pretty dry weather here recently in the Midwest,
Yes.
but can you tell us a little bit about your experience using Wet and Forget?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we had an extremely wet spring, and I didn't have a chance to use it. I kept wanting to use it, and it kept raining every day. And I finally had an opportunity one Sunday morning. We have our backyard, our patio and deck area. It faces the east, so it's fairly shady with trees and all. And every winter we come out, it's always covered with moss, it's always stained, and it takes a long time for it to go away unless I use a power washer. And of course, I was introduced to Wet and Forget, so I finally got a Sunday morning without some rain. Went out and put it down. It rained later that day, and I thought it's not going to work. But the next day I went out and looked, and things started to turn brown, and I hadn't read the label to find out exactly what it was going to do, and that's what it was supposed to do. Next thing I knew, everything started to go away, and it really cleared it up. Didn't take very long. The natural rainfall took it off. It worked great. So I took it from that point, and every time I had friends that said something about moss, or if I was at their house and saw that, I gave them a sample to try. Everybody I've given it to has loved it, and it really does a nice job.
It's great to hear. So I heard you had a chance to give the product to some other people. Have you gotten any feedback? What service have they used it on? Has it worked for them?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I get to try a new product, I try to have other folks try it too, so I get multiple results. And everybody I gave it to had never heard of it, first of all. So I said, the name says it all, Wet and Forget. Use it like I gave a copy of the label. Use it like it says, and just forget about it and tell me how the results were. Everybody came back saying the same thing. Couldn't believe how nice of a job it did quicker than they thought. But how nice it did work for them, and we had siding, we had the decks, we had the patios that everybody was using it on. Great results all the way across, and that really helps me because I like hearing from other folks as well, in addition to what I've done as far as my experiences. So it was 100% all the way across the board.
Okay, so the IGC show is all about finding new and interesting products for the upcoming year, but what were some of the biggest trends in 2011?
I think the biggest trends in 2011, and I think they'll continue on in 2012, but I think outdoor living is definitely in. There's no doubt about it. Bringing the indoors outdoors and creating that extra living area when the weather's right. And as you walk through the show, and you still see that today, things that we use indoors now outdoors, and so many great things to use outdoors, or the furniture, the grills, the patios, the kitchens, things like that. Unbelievable what you can do there. So I think outdoor living continues to be strong. I'll tell you another thing that I've been doing for 25 or 30 years, and really now, if you look through here, container gardening is just unbelievably hot. And it gives everybody an opportunity to do some type of gardening no matter where you live. So as you walk through pottery, the potting soils, the mixes, the plants that they're developing now to go in that stay smaller, that are better for containers, truly showing up. But outdoor living continues to be a strong one. We're seeing more and more of the naturals and organic products coming along too, and of course, again, looking through there, and it continues on. More and more folks looking at natural, organic ways to take care of insect problems, pest problems, fungus, disease, things like that, just like the Wet and Forget.
So a popular thing has been container gardens lately, and what are some of the basics to help get someone started with a container garden?
I think with container garden, you got three basics. You have the container itself, making sure it's a well-drained container, and then it's the size of a container to grow whatever you determine you're going to grow in there that will handle that. Good potting mix, and there's so many great potting mixes on the market today, is unbelievable. Nutrients, whether you want to go synthetic or natural, you've got that choice as well. So if you want to be an organic gardener or a natural gardener, this is a great way to do it. And then, of course, the plants to go in it. And there's so many, my theory is if it grows in the ground, chances are it grows in a container, and probably even better because you control everything. So by, you're picking out whatever you want in the situation, you can do any type of container gardening. And I think that the interesting thing about container gardening is once you get started, you kind of get hooked on it. and you realize that it's not just something for the summertime, but it's actually something you can do all 4 seasons. You can plant, coming out of the springtime, you can plant summer, you plant fall, you plant holiday, you go through the winter, and you can keep those going all the time. So, again, container, the mix, and then of course the plants that go on top. Those are the 3 most important factors. What's interesting about container gardening, if you look around here or look around Chicago, they do a great job. Everything here on the pier is all portable, and you can put a fork truck under these and take them away, which they do. And they'll put them away, then they bring them back out in the springtime and replant them again. So they're all portable. Put them wherever they want so they can create screens, create focal points, create private areas with these containers, which you can do at your own home. But that just gives you a prime example of how well container gardening has come, how far it's come over the years, and how we're all using container gardening in some form to do some type of gardening.
Wet and forget.